So my daughter's father calls me the other day and he goes, "Hey, can you put a stop to the child support court order?" It's almost like he expected me to be like, "Oh yeah, let me go do that for you. Let me go do that right now. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. Anything else? Do you need anything else? You want me to wipe your ass too?" It took me 7 years to get a child support court order. The biggest reason that he's so upset about it is because he thinks doing a one-time monthly payment versus weekly or bi-weekly payments is insane. He thinks it's super unfair to have to do one payment. And I'm sitting on the phone with this 30-year-old grown-ass fucking child saying, "Hey, it's the same as making weekly payments like what we were doing before. Just put that money aside on a weekly basis and then make the one-time payment." I don't understand how child support is like rocket science for men. And he also had, fuck, it's way too much. He also had the audacity to say to me that he's been consistent. Because of his consistency, I should get rid of this court order. Bitch, I got the court order because you were never consistent. And just blow my mind.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we're going to talk a bit about single mothers. We'll look at the complaints and the decisions that led them there, and how many of them say they'd rather be single than be married single mothers. Help us reach 1,000 likes on this video by hitting the like button. Subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. We always highlight the best one. And endless thanks to those who support this project through Super Chat. Let's get started.
As a single mom, we don't have much time. And so the fact that I was giving you my spare time for you to just, for the most part, I do not mind being a single mom. I really don't. But every now and then I get in these moods where like I just start to feel like everybody that's around me has their person. They have someone to share the load with. They have someone to laugh with. They have someone to hold at nighttime. I never signed up to have kids and to do it all alone. I want someone to share this life with. And like I'm sharing this life with my kids and I wouldn't change that for a thing, but like I'm holding them. Who's there to hold me? I'm wiping their tears. Who's wiping my tears? I am their person, but they're not my person. I want my own person. But anytime I try to find someone for me, I end up getting my time wasted. One day, when I least expect it, a man will come into my life and he will love me just the way that I love. And he will love my kids the way my kids should be loved. And until that day comes, I guess I'll just be patient. So if you also feel like this, keep your head up, mama. Because your time is coming. I promise. Those babies love you. Keep pushing.
Stop it. Get some help.
You already had your person. The problem was that you didn't value him. A child doesn't show up by accident. They come either by choice or by carelessness, but always with consequences. If you don't have emotional or financial stability, the responsible thing is to wait. Not to bring a child into the world to pay for the mistakes of adults. There are two kinds of cases: the woman who was truly the victim of an irresponsible man, and the one who, out of pure stubbornness, decides to break up her home by kicking out a father who actually shows up and does his part. A lot of times, the problem isn't the man, it's her own emptiness. They can't stand the routine. They confuse exhaustion with unhappiness, and instead of fixing things, they look for a way out. And the data backs it up. Between 15% and 20% of women suffer from postpartum depression, and most experience anger or dissatisfaction in their marriage during the first 2 years. But instead of acknowledging it, many act on impulse, make decisions that destroy families, and then blame the man.
Someone said to me the other day, there is nothing worse than being a single mom. And I was like, try being a married single mom, where you're in a relationship or you're married to someone who makes you feel single and alone in your role because you do both roles by yourself. That is worse than being a single mom.
Bitter baby mamas, you all have one thing in common. One thing in common. And it's this. It's that you don't really know what it's like to be a single mom. No, you don't. You're bitter and you don't eat. It's the ones who really are single that are not bitter. They're not. They're humbled. They're humbled by all the responsibility that is on their shoulders 24/7 with zero assistance, with zero relief in time. Okay? Those are the ones who aren't bitter, and they're the ones who should be bitter. The bitter ones have the most support, the most help, the most consistency, and they'd be so bitter. I cannot. Like, why is it this way? Do you not know real people who really have to do things really on their for real own? Do you not know anybody like that? Who really does have a baby dad? Who really doesn't do anything at all for the child consistently? Because it seems wild to me that somebody who had support, who has a loving, involved parent would be as bitter as some of y'all are. So,
The term married single mother is the same as what's called mental load. Many of these women had stability, a man who covered the household expenses, gave them a home, maintained it, and put food on the table. What was asked of them? To take care of the home and the kids. That's it. But even that bothers them. They get upset if the man asks anything about the house. Even when he helps with the cleaning, they get mad because he didn't do it exactly the way she wanted. That's why today there are so many men who are real, married single fathers. They provide for the household, pay for everything, take care of their kids, and still come home to a cold house, with no gratitude, no affection. They're married, but they live alone. And if that's what women call equality, then men have every right to start calling it what it really is, emotional abuse.
I think I speak for a lot of single moms when I say the hardest part is not doing it alone. It's not having the option to not do it alone. So we never have an off switch. We never have the ability to say, hey, partner, can you help me raise our kids together? I need a break for a second. I need to take a breather. Like, we don't have that option. And I still wouldn't change anything about the way that my life is set up now, because I feel like the life I'm giving my kids is exactly the life that they deserve. Even if that means I'm doing it alone. But I think the biggest issue is that, yes, we're doing it alone, but we never have the option, even for 5 minutes, to not do it alone, which can be exhausting and overwhelming.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
Well, that's an easy fix. Just be the weekend mom. Pay child support, and you'll have nearly 100 hours of free time. You won't watch your kids grow up, you'll miss every important milestone, and chances are they won't feel any real attachment to you, because you were never around to share time with them. You'll realize you don't know anything about their lives, that you missed out on a lot of fun experiences. You'll see how fast that weekend goes by, and feel like you spend more time driving to pick them up and drop them off than actually being with them. But hey, you'll be happy, because all that time will be yours again. So what do you say? If you don't want to carry the full weight of responsibility, just become the weekend mom, and problem solved.
Women.
but something I would like to address are some of the comments saying, well, that's what you signed up for. That's the man you picked. Well, maybe choose better next time. Women get blamed for being fucked over by men. We get blamed for damn near everything. That's not fair. And like, life's not fair. But come on, like, people don't come into your life and explain all of the ways in which they're gonna fuck you over in the future. Like, I thought I picked the best person. I had a whole list. I had therapy under my belt of what to look for in a good partner. I healed some trauma. 6 years later, had that man's baby, blew up. The whole relationship. I don't understand why women are getting blamed for picking the wrong man when the accountability needs to go back on the man for not being a good husband. Is it clocking to you what I'm saying right now? And I say this from a place of love, but like, why are women getting blamed because we just want love and a family? And like, some of us want to have kids, and that's all fine and dandy. But like, that man, why isn't the accountability going on him? Like, he's the one that wasn't a very good partner. And he presented himself as a good partner in the beginning and then switched up on me. Like, if I would have known that was going to happen, I wouldn't have chose that for myself. Like, and I feel like so many women can relate to me on this, where it's like, you get blamed for picking that man. Oh, that's what you picked. That's what you signed up for. Actually, it's not. Because he said in the beginning all these other things. He presented himself in the beginning as all these other things. It's like I got hoodwinked. And that's my fault? Anyway. The audacity. I love you guys.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
You spent 5 years with that man, and everything fell apart when the kids came along. There's a statistic in the US that shows 20% of divorces happen within the first 5 years, and 13% within the first year. And those numbers go up when a woman gets pregnant. That raises a lot of questions. The problem is that many women believe having a child is a solution, not a test. Then, when the relationship starts to wear down, they blame the man for everything. The stress, the exhaustion, the lack of attention, but they never stop to ask themselves if they also failed as a partner. A wise woman builds her home. An emotional one tears it down with complaints and impulsive decisions. If you lived with someone for 5 years, you already knew who he was. He didn't deceive you. You told yourself the version you wanted to believe. That's the part they never admit. Responsibility is kryptonite for women.
It is easier being a single mom than a married single mom, despite the financial insecurity, sometimes housing insecurity, having to restart, removing the second adult from the home and just carrying 100% of the weight somehow turns out to be less stressful and causes less resentment than when you are sharing the house with someone who refuses to contribute. I know we're going to have triggered men jumping in the comments talking about how they work a full-time job, they're the breadwinner, they provide the health insurance, so how dare we say they don't contribute? But the contribution to a home is so much more than a paycheck. In most homes, both parents were working anyway. So both parents are managing their 40-hour work week, and then typically the mom is carrying 100% of the labor distribution within the home. I don't know why we call it distribution of labor when it's not distributed at all. The mental labor of being the CEO of your home, the boss of your entire family, is absolutely draining, and it's stressful. Somehow, when the other person's removed from the equation and all of it rests on your shoulders, it's easier. And I have literally heard from thousands of women in the comments that are saying the exact same thing. They may now be managing 2 or 3 jobs just to provide the same lifestyle for their kids, and they might be back in school full time, but they still say it's easier by themselves.
If both people work and share the expenses, I think it's fair that you also help out around the house. It's not that hard, especially if you've already lived on your own and kept your place in order. But the problem is that a lot of women today turn simple things into drama. They complain about running a washing machine that practically works by itself or cleaning a space they barely even spend time in. Technology makes life easier, but their mindset makes it harder. You can even hire a cleaning service once a month. It's not that expensive, and have the whole place taken care of. The issue is that many don't want a partner. They want a competitor. They bring their work attitude home, acting like they're in an office where they have to prove who's in charge. That's why so many relationships fall apart.
The men that call me a single mom and mean it as an insult, so if you're normal, keep scrolling. You want to know what's interesting? In 1973, women weren't allowed to open their own bank account, have a mortgage, nothing by themselves. So a lot of women stayed in those relationships and got married because then they could get a house, they could have access to a bank account, etc., etc. Now we're in 2024. I have my own bank account. I can have my own mortgage, right? So imagine being alone and raising a child and taking care of all of those things by myself is easier than being in a shitty relationship. I know. It's easier for me. So every single time you call me a single mom and you think it's an insult, I want you to know that it was actually your mom's greatest desire. But they didn't have that right in 1973, so.
Everything changed. Back then, a woman had a home, a husband who provided, and the stability to raise her kids. Today, many of those same women are sleeping in cars, in shelters, or surviving on government aid. But of course, now they're independent. They traded security for loneliness and a home for pride. Divorce videos weren't trendy before, and companies didn't market singleness to women like they do now. There weren't lobbies pushing for abortion or influencers telling women to leave their husbands for no real reason. And there definitely weren't a dozen apps giving them access to millions of men from a phone or messaging apps where people end up cheating. But sure, women are better off now. So much so that the percentage of single mothers went from 18% in 1990 to 27% in 2025. That's millions of kids growing up without a father. In this country alone, that's almost 20 million children without a present father figure. It's insane. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think is the reason behind the rise in single motherhood in the United States? Why do women complain so much about housework when there are appliances that basically do everything? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.